Hello, Freedom Nation. It's Jeff, and this is another of the 10 books that helped me to reach my Freedom Day. This book, I will tell you, I probably own more copies of this book than any other book I've ever owned. I probably own at least 5 copies. I have one at each desk that I sit at in all the offices I have. My office is at home. I have multiple of this book. The reason is it is something that I continually use as a resource almost every day. The book is Expert Secrets, the underground playbook for creating a mass movement of people who will pay you for your advice by Russell Brunson. I will tell you, Russell has been one of the greatest mentors of my life. Never met him, but once again, I count him as a mentor because I've learned more from him when it comes to marketing and also really the subject of this book, which is to create a movement around what I'm doing. It's where Freedom Nation came from. It's where the Freedom Day method came from. It is trying to help people understand concepts and build a tribe of people that care about the same stuff as you do. So this book has some key concepts to it. I will tell you, it is probably the most action-packed book where you can take the advice from that book and immediately put it into action. If you just follow all the rules in the book, you're going to be successful with this. You just have to put in the time in the chair and get better at it. So let's walk through the key concepts of the book. So first off, you need to identify your expertise. Now, I hear this all the time when I say, "Hey, what do you want to do? I want to create passive income for myself." Okay, how are you going to do that? I don't really want to buy real estate. I'd really like to do something. I think it'd be fun to do something on the internet. Great. I think it'd be wonderful for you to do that. It's very low cost. You can get up there, get going. You just have to get that information out there. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. I'm not really an expert in anything. Yes, you are. Everybody has something that they geek out on. Everybody has some kind of crazy interest that other people just like you that are geeky are going to want to know about. And things that you geek out on, other people geek out on as well, but they may not know how to do it as well as you. They may not have gathered the expertise that you have. Let's give you an example of this. Russell Brunson. So when he was in college, he was a wrestler and he had gotten married. So he was, basically his wife was putting him through college, paying all the bills, working a ton of hours while he wrestled because he wasn't allowed to work a job. And during a spring break, he and his friends didn't get to go because they couldn't afford to go. So he and a few of his friends were hanging around campus and they were just trying to figure out something to do. And one of them said, "Hey, let's make a potato gun." And apparently growing up in Idaho, this is something that you do, but they created a potato gun. And then they realized, wow, how could I do this? How could we teach other people to do this? Because there's probably other people out there that might be interested in this. And this is in the early days of the internet and certainly in online marketing. So they ended up going out during spring break, filming, going to Home Depot, getting all the parts for it, putting together a video course, and selling DVDs of this. The most obscure thing that you could possibly think, creating potato guns. They created an income in his last year before he graduated. He was making over $100,000 a year selling plans for potato guns online. And that led him into other things over the years, eventually founding ClickFunnels, the company that really solved a purpose for him, which was to make it easier to build sales funnels, which he was trying to do. So develop that expertise and then share that expertise. The next step is creating a mass movement. And this is really key to being successful with this, is creating a mass movement, a tribe of people around you. And there's 3 key components or 3 key elements to this. You have to have a charismatic leader. You have to have a cause, and there's got to be some kind of new opportunity that results through this. And it's really interesting, the case studies that he uses in the book, everything from Hitler, which is a horrible example of a charismatic leader who took people down the wrong path, but very easy to understand how it happened once you understand that mass movement that happened as a result. So this can be a good or a bad thing, and he gives you good and bad examples. The next piece is a storytelling technique called the hero's two journeys. And so it's telling the story of that charismatic leader through a journey. And so this is a storytelling technique. Everything from movies to books to plays are use this storytelling technique of the hero's two journeys. There's two parallel journeys that a hero is on. First, the journey of achievement, which is the one that's the most that's the one that's out there and that everybody sees. But there's also a transformational journey that goes on behind the scenes and within that charismatic leader or the hero of our story. There's a transformation that happens that's well and above whatever that achievement was that they achieved. Now, the next part of it is creating an offer. So in the book, Russell teaches you how to craft a compelling proposition for your customers so that they can't refuse it, and then how to price your products and services correctly. So he goes through a very detailed process of doing that. Then he talks about the Big Domino. This is the one thing, if you believe and accept it, and your target audience believes and accepts it, if they can just knock this one big domino down, they're going to be on the road to success, and any other barriers are just irrelevant at that point. The Epiphany Bridge is the next step. And the Epiphany Bridge is the formula for storytelling that uses an emotional storytelling process, this epiphany that person had of how they can make it to this next phase, how they can make it through the journey. And he talks about how to craft that very specifically. Then he talks about the stack, which is one of the coolest things that I learned. And it was one of the coolest things he learned. It's what helped him to make money down the road. And it's a sales technique for stacking up the value of something for your customer and then offering them a price that is below that value, significantly below that value, that allows them to say, okay, I can't afford not to do this. Of course, Russell, being the ClickFunnels guy and the crown prince of funnels, he talks about how to build a funnel and the importance of using sales funnels instead of just putting up a website and having a ton of stuff on the website that confuses people. A funnel is just simply a very simplified website that leads people down a very specific path. Then he talks about how to test your funnel, how to make sure that it's actually working and make sure that people aren't getting stuck in the process. And then the last piece, and this is probably one of the things I've used more than anything else out of this book, is how to do webinars to offer your products to people. Specifically, a technique that he calls the perfect webinar that combines all these components that we've talked about throughout the concepts of this book into a presentation that leads people down this very specific path using a webinar that ends up teaching them, but teaching them not quite enough for them to do it all on their own, but encouraging them to purchase whatever product or service you're offering. So Expert Secrets, it is a book, literally, I've probably read more than any other book. And I know I've said that a couple times on these, but this book, I will tell you, I have literally read hundreds of times, not just cover to cover, but going back, looking at a specific process, utilizing some software that came from ClickFunnels that I have to go back and reference things inside the book. It is by far the best book on marketing oneself and creating a personal brand that you can monetize, that knowledge that you have, provide a roadmap for your clients, and really it provides a roadmap for you building a successful business. Highly recommended. You should pick it up if you don't have it. And if you want it for free, just go to expertsecrets.com and you'll be able to get it for free. All you have to do is pay for shipping. I think it's $7 or something like that. It'll be the best $7 that you ever spend. I hope this was helpful for you. This is a book that I geek out on because I love this stuff. And I hope you see the enthusiasm in my face, because I really, truly love this. And it is the first book that I read as I was starting to build my new company, and I was starting to build Freedom Day and the Freedom Day method. This was the first book that I used to really start to get myself on the right track to build that successful business over time. So thanks a lot. Please subscribe to the channel, because we are putting a ton more of this information out, especially for the next 60 days as we launch this channel and grow it. We want to grow our subscribers. We want to be able to provide you with this information, and we want you to keep coming back here to this channel, because I'm putting this stuff up all the time. Make sure you hit that little notification button on the right-hand side there, the little bell. That'll tell you when you get it, and you'll get an email saying, hey, we put something up for you. So make sure you do that so that you get these as soon as possible. And I'm going to keep reading and sharing this stuff with you. We have one more book to go, and then we'll start to focus on some other books that I like. But one more book that I consider key to my success of getting to Freedom Day. So thanks a lot, and we will see you back here the very next time.